Pretty good.
I think so.
Do you ever tire of people expecting you to behave cool and hard like those characters in real life?
No, I'm tolerant of it now, though sometimes I feel that people are disappointed if I don't look at them and say, make my day, or something like that.
I didn't like the way you said that. Isn't Muhammad Ali a great fan of those as well and wanted you to do the part?
Yeah. I was telling an anecdote the other day of we were on a television show, much like your show, only one where they have 2 or 3 people on at the same time in New York. And I'd never met him before, but he was the champion at that time. And he said, come here, I want to talk to you. And so he took me down into the basement of the studio, down through some hallway that had a lot of pipes running down there. And he said, I've got to talk to you. And we went down around the corner where nobody else was there. And he said, look, will you give me that look that you give in those films and tell me I've got 10 minutes to get out of town. And of course, he was the heavyweight champ, so I told him that I didn't have a gun with me. So I didn't do it.
The vice president of Columbia Pictures, he told me, he said, kid, I want to tell you a story. He always called me kid. That always made me very comfortable. He said, kid, first time Tony Curtis ever was in a movie, he delivered a bag of groceries. And you took one look at that guy and you knew that was a movie star. And I was young and foolish, so I said, I thought you were supposed to think that that was a grocery delivery boy.
When I first started in movies, the movie magazines used to have contests in which they'd say, win Tony Curtis for a weekend. Write a paragraph on what you think Hollywood is wonderful, why Hollywood is wonderful. And they had second prizes and third prizes. They'd have a refrigerator and a washing machine. Well, this woman won me in Walla Walla, Washington, and she was really pissed off. I was to spend the weekend with her and her family, and she was just so disappointed. I mean, I could tell by her behavior. She was rude, and I said, I hope I'm not doing anything wrong. She says, it's got nothing to do with you. She said, but I wanted that washing machine.
Bond was a completely different thing for Irish kids because they were banned, the Bond books. And they were banned in Ireland because, I think it was because in every single book, Ian Fleming always had the girl's nipples hardening with desire. And I couldn't imagine this. I was wondering, I was sort of going to my nipples. I'd look at it as sort of ice creams or something.
Brando was extraordinary. Brando couldn't remember lines. And he used to write lines down on boards and on his hands. And that great sort of Brando-esque look, which was, you know, this kind of look, while I was reading his next line. You know? Or he would do one of these sort of things, you know, and put his hand over his head, and the line was written on his palm of his hand. I remember when he did Julius Caesar. He did Julius Caesar, and he said, you know, he says, oh, pardon me, thy bleeding piece of earth, that I am meek and gentle with these butchers. Thou art the ruins of the noblest man who ever lived in the tide of times. And I knew Shakespeare didn't write And then you saw that look. Woe to the hands.
The greatest star I met was Bette Davis. And it was a great treat because it was at the Academy Awards, and they have a big dinner at the Academy Awards for the governors, and they assign you seats. And I was there with my lovely girlfriend, who is now my wife, and we had gone off. We went off to dance, and we came back, and Bette Davis is sitting in my girlfriend's seat, and we go, honey, Bette Davis is in your seat. Bette Davis. And Arlene Dahl, who I think made some movies with Lance Granger, was sitting at the table as well. I said, oh, Bette Davis is in her seat. Oh, kick her out. Kick her out of your seat. She'll love it. I know her. She'll love it. Go, kick her out of the seat. Go, kick her out of the seat. And so I kind of, well, all right. And I go over to Miss Bette Davis, and I say, excuse me, Miss Davis, you are sitting in my girlfriend's seat, but if anybody can, you can. Bette Davis said, huh? And I said, well, Miss Davis, you're sitting in my girlfriend's seat, and if anybody can, you can. And Betty Davis turned to me and said, "I can't hear a word you're saying."
And you lived to tell the tale.
This was the biggest thrill of my entire life.